Right. So fine, welcome to the training, and before I actually start with the training, let me give you a brief introduction of what we'll be doing and how we'll be proceeding, and I'll clear out few of your doubts and all everything. Okay. So this is the introduction class. All right. And I have actually segregated the whole training day by day on various topics and all everything. Right. We'll be starting off with Java, and then we'll be doing the concepts of Selenium and all everything. Okay, and we'll learn complete Selenium, then we'll learn test ng, right? And then we'll go over to, we'll discuss few exercises and all, and we'll start building framework. Okay, so this is just an overview of what we will be doing. I have segregated the whole thing into this sheet, right? Look, there are few questions which everybody has, like in the training, that what all will be taught in the course. Okay, basically Java WebDriver frameworks, okay, Maven and TestNG, Jenkins, Grid, all these things will be taught during the training. Okay, will I be getting the access to the videos? Yes, you will get the access to the videos along with the training. There is a pre-recorded set of videos which you will get the access to, and we also record the batch recordings which we are doing right now, the batches which we take. You also get the access to that. Okay, yes, we do record the current sessions and we'll give you the access. Okay, now there's a very good question which everybody asks, that is Java required? I don't know programming. Look, if you want to learn Selenium with Java, then Java is required, and it is required to a proficient level. Okay, you cannot just do away with Java, right? If you are a kind of person who has never done programming, who has never even coded in C or C++, then things will be very new to you, and you'll have to struggle a little bit, right? It won't be coming directly, and it won't be easy, I can tell you. Okay, I don't want to present a false picture, but it is not something which is tough. It's something which demands practice and time. That's it. Okay, right. There's another question which commonly people ask, that I need help in my project, or I want to clear an interview. Then how do I go about it? Look, to learn this tool, it will take you 10, 11, 12 days to get a basic idea and to learn this tool. To say that, fine, I know Selenium. Okay, but to learn it to a level where you can clear an interview, or you can confidently apply for a job or do a project, hands-on project, it takes minimum 6 to 8 hours of practice. Okay, it will it will actually, it's something which you cannot avoid. It will take this much time. All right, so just a minute. Right, okay, so few people were not able to join. I'm just helping them out. Right. What is the duration of the course? I am just taking 5 minutes of your time before actually starting off with the training. Okay. Right. The duration of the course will be nearly 25 to 30 hours. Okay. Of which 50% of the training time will be on WebDriver, Java, TestNG, Grid and all. And 50% we'll do a project. A project basically means a framework. We'll take up a website and we'll implement a framework on it. Okay, right. So another kind of question which people ask is, could you please also provide some kind of live project and all? Look, live project is basically a framework, and there are various types of frameworks. So we will be actually learning how to build the frameworks and all everything. Okay, if you want to get the copy of this syllabus, then this is the link. Right, I'll just give you the link on the chat to everyone. I've just pinged the link on the chat to everyone. You can also ask questions. You can unmute yourself, ask questions, or you can ask them on chat, or you can ask them on Skype. Okay, right. And look, the timings. The timings will be Monday to Friday in the morning Indian time, and in US it will be actually from Sunday evening to Thursday evening. Okay, right. So let us now move ahead and look at the course, look at Selenium. Before that, anybody with any questions, please feel free to ask questions. Don't think that what anybody will think of your question or something. If you think that it's relevant for you, you should be asking that. Okay, feel free to ask questions. Anybody having any questions, you can use the chat option, right? And you can type your question. And when you type it, you can actually, select everyone. Just make sure that the question goes to everyone. Okay. The first question is being asked is that no JUnit. I am not covering any JUnit. Look, JUnit is not used that much with Selenium. Okay. Most of the people use TestNG. Otherwise, both of them are more or less same. Okay. If you go to the website QTP, if you don't know what JUnit is, what TestNG is, okay, feel free, don't get afraid, I'll tell you, right? If you go to qtpselenium.com and over here in module number 8, I have explained JUnit. So if you want to read about JUnit, you can actually go to module 8 and you can read about it. I would like to know whether we can ask questions from videos from the yeah. Look, there are pre-recorded set of videos whose access we give. Yes, you can ask questions from that as well. Okay, we have a forum where you can post your questions. At times, I am online on Skype. I am not always online, though I might look online. Okay, you can also ping me on Skype. Okay, but the forum will primarily help you out. All right. Anyone else having any questions? Right. So, yes, Selenium Grid will be covered. Yes. When you ask a question, please direct it to everyone so that everybody can see the question. Okay. Yes, Selenium Grid will be covered in the training. Okay, we'll be covering it. All right. So 50% of the time we'll learn Java and all those concepts, and 50% of the times we'll spend on the framework. Okay, right. So most of you must be knowing the basic things which I'm going to cover on the first day. So if it comes to you like that, fine, this is something which I know, then don't worry. Gradually we'll be covering everything. Okay, right. Now the first thing is learning Java. Okay, this is the this is the biggest mistake which people do. Just a minute. Right. Okay, this is the biggest mistake which people do. When they try to learn Selenium, they ignore Java. Look, you need to know Java, you need to know the concepts of object-oriented programming. Okay, right. Anjub, I am coming over to your question in some time. Right. So what happens is that if you actually go to the official website of Selenium, okay, the official website of Selenium is seleniumhq.org. Right. If you go out here, the first line which is written is Selenium automates browsers. Okay, right. Sorry for that. I'm just helping you to join the training. So Selenium automates browsers. Look, it's a automation testing tool which can only be used for browser-based applications, Firefox, Mozilla, Chrome, and all. You cannot use it for desktop-based applications. This is the first major thing which you want to learn. It's a browser automation tool. Okay. If you go to the download section, you will see that there is something known as Java Docs which is written over here with the latest version of Selenium, which is Selenium 3. Okay, if I click on Java Docs, you will see the documentation of Selenium. We will be using this documentation a lot, but to understand this documentation, you need to know Java. You need to know the concepts of object-oriented programming. You just cannot go and understand this documentation. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you, the initial thing. Right? Okay, now what is the objective of this course? What is the main thing which you should be, looking for, or what you should be expecting from this course, right? I'll tell you that the main goal is to learn how to build a framework. Okay, right. Now, what is a framework and how do we build a framework? Let me discuss that. All right. So out here, what happens is that when you practically work in a company, okay, when you work in a company, then what they do, they tell you, fine, these are some of your test cases. You need to automate these test cases. Suppose there are some test cases, you write the scripts and all, and you automate them. Okay, this is suppose your test case 1, this is your test case 2, test case 3, test case 4, right? So when you run these test cases, okay, you want to have a certain order. You want to run them one after another. Or maybe, okay, maybe you have a requirement that you want to run this test, and after this you want to run this test. You want to skip the test too. Every time you don't want to run all the tests. Apart from this, you have a generic requirement that you should be generating reports. Okay, reports means HTML reports. Okay, the reports should be having the screenshots in them. Okay, that if some exception happens, if some error comes up, you should be reporting that with the screenshot. Apart from that, you need to you need to put some logs in the reports. Logs means that what happened at each and every moment when the script was running. Okay, right. If the script is running for 10 hours, then you need to put everything in the logs, that fine, on the first minute this happened, on the second minute this happened, something like this. Okay, moreover, you would like that your data should be read from some external file like Excel file or an XML file or a properties file, because generally we keep the scripts different and we keep the data different, right? Apart from that, you must be having the requirement that you have to integrate something like, if you have not heard the words, then it's fine. If you have heard it, then it's okay. But you have to use a Maven project and you have to integrate and Jenkins to it. So it's not just about building scripts, it's about lot of other things. If you talk about Selenium, then Selenium is only over here in this green box. Selenium will only help you to interact with the browser. It will not help you to generate reports or take screenshots, logs, and all those things. Okay, right. So, Vikas, the way I'm coming over to your questions, right? So over here, Selenium is only in this green box. You cannot actually generate reports, screenshots, logs, and all those things with Selenium. So to do that, you use a centralized controller. This centralized controller is known as, sometimes people use JUnit, TestNG, then Cucumber is used, Cucumber BDD, JBehave is used. Alright, so these are centralized controllers. These are different frameworks, you can say. They're centralized controllers. What they do is that they will help you to read the data from the Excel file. They'll execute the test cases in serial order or skip any one of them if you want, and they'll pass over the data. They'll help you integrate with Maven and Jenkins, generate reports, everything. So in this training, it is not just about learning Selenium, it's about learning many other things as well. Okay. Now this overall thing is known as a framework. Okay. And there are different types of frameworks: data driven framework, hybrid, keyword, page object model. there are different approaches to solve this scenario. Okay, each approach is a different kind of framework. In this training we will be doing one type of framework because it takes time. I cannot teach all the types of frameworks. Okay, but you get the pre-recorded sessions along with the training. In those all the types of frameworks are discussed. Okay, if you go to the Selenium training section, right, you will see that if you scroll down, you will see that like 18 and 19 18th framework is a data driven framework with JUnit. 20th framework is a TestNG with data driven. Okay, then 19th framework is hybrid framework with JUnit. Then 21 is hybrid with TestNG. So we have everything. We have got page object model with page factory. So I will take one of these frameworks and I'll explain you in detail because it's going to take me time to explain the complete framework. Okay. Now coming over to your other questions which people are asking. Now, is it handle backend validation? Yes, you can fire backend queries and all in Java, Vikas, and you can validate the backend as well. If you look at the videos, then out here in the pre-recorded sessions, in the module number 34 and 35, I have covered Selenium and database testing. Okay, so you can look at that. Right. Now, they were asking, can you capture video while running? Yes, you can capture a video. You can take screenshots, Divya. You can do anything. Okay. Can we automate web services? Look, Selenium is not a tool which is used for web services testing. Okay. It is used for UI automation for functional testing. Although many people try to use Selenium for web services. This is the question. I'll just put it on a notepad as well so that everybody is able to see it. Can we automate web services using Selenium? Selenium is not a tool. Actual tool is SOAP UI. If you want to learn properly web services testing, then the right tool is SOAP UI. Okay. Is Java content taught in the videos in the class enough? Yes, it is more than enough. And I would recommend you that if you have the access to the videos, then please watch the videos 1 to 7. Okay, that will help you a lot. All right. Those are Java videos. Okay, so I hope you are getting my point. Fine. So let us start with the training. Okay. So what we'll do is just a minute. Right. Yes, I am recording the session. You can look at it. Right. So the first thing is I gave you a brief introduction. Okay. Now let me tell you about Selenium. What are the components of Selenium and how it has evolved over a period of time, and this tool is actually going. Right. So out here, if you look at the history of Selenium, how Selenium has evolved over a period of time. Look, initially when Selenium came in way back in 2005-6, it started, right? There were three components. One was known as IDE, Selenium IDE. One was known as GRID, and the third component was known as RC. Okay, or what I'll do is that I'll write it down. So initially there were three things. Okay, just 1 minute. Way back it was Selenium RC, there was IDE, and there was GRID. Okay, RC was IDE was something or other. It is still there. It is only used on Mozilla. It is primarily a record and run tool. Record and run feature is there in every automation tool. Okay, it will generate no reports for you. Okay, you cannot generate any reports. If you have lot of test cases, for example, you have 1000 test cases to automate, you cannot use IDE. It is not a very stable tool. Okay, right. So that is why people used to have RC. RC used to work on all the browsers, all the major browsers. And it was a tool in which you had to code. You had to learn any one of the programming languages like Java, C Sharp, Ruby, Python. Okay. And you had to code in RC. It used to generate reports. You could generate reports. Okay. Everything was possible. Right. But the only problem was that a tester had to code. Okay. And it had lot of drawbacks as well. Okay, drawbacks in the sense remote control. It's known as Selenium remote control. The full form is remote control drama. Okay, there used to be a server which we used to start, and and at times it never used to get started. So we actually had to restart the PC and all everything. So it used to give issues, right? There were drawbacks out here. So that is why in somewhere around 2011 August, WebDriver came. Okay, RC was removed and we came up with WebDriver. And WebDriver could also do these things. Okay, apart from that, it had more features than RC. You don't need to learn RC in order to learn WebDriver. Both of them are very different. Okay, nobody uses RC these times. Only few companies who have their projects implemented in RC, they are continuing with RC. Okay, WebDriver was also known as Selenium 2.0. Okay, now GRID was something which was used for parallel testing. Suppose you have got 100 test cases. So you can, with the help of GRID, you can distribute those 100 test cases among say 10 computers and you can run your test cases parallelly. So it will save your time. Okay, so when WebDriver 2 came up, it actually altogether changed Selenium, right? And IDE remained same, IDE is still same, and apart from that, GRID 2 came up in the market. Okay, GRID 2 was again supporting parallel testing. Alright, now last year, 2006, somewhere around September, we had released for Selenium 3. Okay, but this is still unstable. There are a lot of problems in it. Okay, basic things, some very basic things, they are not working in Selenium 3. Okay, it is unstable. So you have to know, we have to take a decision out here whether to use Selenium 2 or whether to use Selenium 3. Okay, right. So that we will do, we'll make a decision. I'll tell you the drawbacks and all when we learn. Okay, right. Fine. Now this is a question. There's a question being asked that how many maximum machines you can use for parallel using grid. Look, it depends on your configuration. It depends on the central machine, how much RAM it has, and all that stuff. Okay. So there are. This is a very generic question. Okay. If I ask you that, give me a name of good vehicle in the market. So there, what kind of vehicle you want? You want a car or you want a truck or you want a two-wheeler? What type of vehicle you want? It's something like that. Okay. So you cannot generalize it, right? You need to have the proper configurations, right? Now Selenium 3 is actually WebDriver 3. It is unstable. With it, Grid 3 has also come up. Okay, so I'll tell you the basic problems and all, and then we'll move ahead. Okay, now where is Selenium moving ahead? They are adding a lot of things. Look, the good thing is if you learn this tool, then learning other tools. For example, if you talk about a tool like Appium. Appium is a tool for mobile automation. This tool is built on top of Selenium. Okay, right, it is built on top of Selenium. It uses Selenium commands. So if you learn Selenium, if you learn Java, then learning Appium becomes easy. Moreover, if you want to learn like a tool like SoapUI, which is for web services automation, right? or you want to do load testing, you want to learn JMeter, or you want to learn load runner, then learning all these tools, it becomes easy after you learn Selenium, because you get some background of Java, you get some technical, you will develop some technical knack. Okay, it really becomes easy. If you want to learn QTP as well, you will find it easy to learn all these tools. Okay, so that is again one of the advantages of learning Selenium. All right. So I hope you have understood my point. Right. Okay. Now moving ahead, the first thing to start off is that you need to download Java. Okay. Now when I say download Java, please install JDK, Java Development Kit. Because if you don't install JDK, then you might face issues. Okay, go to Google, type download JDK, and the first link. Many of you might have it, and many of you might find this simple. Okay, right. And out here, you go to the first link. Okay, you go to the first link, and out here you click on Java Development Kit JDK 8. You click on this download link and download for your Windows 32-bit or 60 sorry 64-bit or 32-bit, or if you have a Mac OS, you can download and install this JDK. It's around 200 MB. Okay, so just accept the agreement and download and install it. Right, once you install it, just go to command prompt. Okay, and type Java. If you get a message something like this, right, that means Java is correctly configured on your PC. Okay, right, just open a command prompt and type Java. Now after that you have to download Eclipse. Eclipse is like the editor for Java language. Okay, many of you might be having it, right? So it's like a place where you can write Java code. What I ask people is to download Eclipse Luna, right? So that everybody uses the same thing in the class. That's the only thing. Otherwise, if you have some other Eclipse, it's fine. It doesn't create a big difference. Okay, you can go to Eclipse Luna website and you can download it from here. Eclipse comes as a bundle. Okay, if you go to, like in my PC, I have my Eclipse over here. When you extract the zip file, you will have Eclipse over here, right? And out here, you will have this application file, the exe file. Okay, right. So out here, you will be opening this exe and you will get, hold on, hold on. Yeah, you'll get a window like this. This is known as a workspace window. Okay. Workspace window means the path where you will be storing all the code. Okay. In my PC, I will say that it's stored at this location on Feb weekday 2016. Okay. It's being stored at this location. Right. So this is the location where all the code which we make during this training, we'll store all the code, and you can also download the code. Okay. You can download the code as well. Right. So this is Eclipse. You can close the welcome screen. Right. This is Project Explorer. On the left hand side, we'll make projects and all over here. Okay. So the first thing is that you have to start making a project in Eclipse. Okay. You can go to File, New, and select Project. Okay. Or you can go to Other. Under Other, you will see the option Java, and you can make the Java project. Okay. So you can give the project name. I'll just give this project name as day 1, and just 1 minute. Yeah, just let it create the project. Right. So this is the day one project. If you expand the project, you will see a source folder and GRE system library. Okay. This GRE system library is nothing but Java which was installed on your system. Okay, the JDK. And source folder is the folder in which we'll be keeping all the code. Look, it might find, many of you might find this very simple, but you have to bear with me because there are people out here who don't understand stuff. Okay, so I'll be starting from the very basics. Right. You can make a new class over here. Right click on the source folder and select new class. Class basically means a Java program. Okay. So I'll just call it as first Java program and uh, click on this checkbox public static void main. Right. And this first Java program dot class will be generated. Okay, hold on. Let me just improve my font size. Just a minute. Yeah, I hope it's ready. You can read it, right? So first Java class, it starts with brackets, it ends over here, and this is the main function. Main function is there in every programming language. Okay, it's something from where the control starts. If you don't know what static is, what public is, if you're confused in this, just don't worry. We will cover that. Just accept few things as they are. When I will start with the object-oriented programming, I'll come over to these concepts. Okay. Now in Java, you have all those things. You have got if statements, you have got for loops, while loops. You have got data and variables, data types. You can have integer int I equals 100. Then you can have strings. String s equals to hello. Like any other programming language, you have everything. I am assuming that you know this basic thing, that what if statement, for loop, and all that stuff is. If you are not knowing, don't worry. You can go to qtpselenium.com and over here you can go to the Selenium training section. Out here you can watch the module 1 as well as module 2 that will help you out loops, arrays, functions and all. Okay, so I'm assuming that you have little background. Okay, if you want to print something in Java, the command is system.out.println. Okay, learning Selenium I'll type. So system.out.println is the command to print something in Java. The shortcut for this is you type syso and hit control spacebar of the keyboard. Don't need to write everything. Okay, syso plus control space. If when you run this program, you see that you can run it from this icon over here, run. In the console you will see learning Selenium written, or you can right click on it and select run. Right click on the Java file basically and select run as Java application, so it will run. There are two ways to run it, right? And whatever you run will be printed in the console. Now there are few things over here, okay, where actually when people are new they get stuck. Sometimes you close your, this is your package explorer, you are seeing the day and all everything. By mistake people close this package explorer, or by mistake people close the console, and then you don't know how to go back to it. Okay, this is very basic thing. People get stuck over here. So if you want to go back, you can go to window, show view, all the views are available over here. If I select package explorer, then package explorer will come back, and if I select windows, uh, hold on, show view, and if you select console, then console output will come up. Okay, so this is basic, but it can be really a frustrating thing if you don't know about it, right? Okay, now moving ahead, this is the day one project under this source folder, and this is the Java file. Okay, if I right click on this file and I go to the, I'll get a lot of options. If I right click on the project, I will get a lot of options. We'll see these options. One of the most important options is properties. Okay, we will be using this a lot. It's got the project properties. Under resource, you'll be seeing the path where the project is lying. Okay, the project is lying at this path. If you copy the path and if you go to this is the same workspace path which we had generated. Okay, if I go to this path, I will be able to see all these folders, out of which the source folder is visible inside the project. Okay, source folder is visible inside the project. All the other folders are not visible. Inside the source folder, you will have this Java file which you just made. So you can also look in the hard drive. Alright, fine. If you open the bin folder, you will have something known as class file. Corresponding to every Java file, a class file is made at compilation. This class file you will not be able to understand. Okay, this class file is like an exe file, right? You can put this class file on any operating system and you can run it. I have a Windows operating system. Okay, but I can put this class file on Linux, I can put this on Mac, I can put this on any operating system and I can make it run and produce the same output as this learning Selenium which is typed over here. Okay, that is why Selenium with Java is preferred, because Java is a platform independent language. You can run your scripts on any operating system and make them on any operating system, because this class file is platform independent. Okay, right. Now what happens is that when you are in a project, you have lot of class files. Every Java file is converted to a class file. If I make a new Java file over here, I'll just recreate a new class known as, say, print name, and in this file if I just type name is Selenium, and if I run this, it will print name is Selenium, and in the bin folder on the hard drive you will see the print name class file also generated. So for every Java file you'll have a class file, and you deliver, generally we deliver these class files to the client. When the developers say that they are doing the deployment, they are actually deploying these class files on the servers. Okay, so what happens is that when you have the class file in Java, suppose there is a project, in that project you end up making lot of class files. Okay, you end up making lot of class files, and what happens is that in the end when you have to deliver the class files to the client, we put all the class files together in a single file. That single file is known as a jar file. A jar file is collection of lot of class files, and you can use the features of those class files. Alright, fine. Yes, you need to have Java on that machine now. There's a question being asked that if I have a class file and I want to run it on another machine, do I need Java on that machine? Yes, Java is required. Okay. Now, how will I run it? That is a separate question. Like, we'll come over to that, right? So, what happens is that when the client comes to us and we have to deliver him the project, we put all the class files in single file known as jar file, and we deliver it to the client. Okay. For example, if you look at this JRE system library, okay, this was Java which was installed on your system. Okay, if I uh, actually expand this, if I expand this, you will see the various jar files out here. Each jar file will have lot of class files. See that each jar file is having so many class files, and we can use the features of these class files, inbuilt features of these class files. Alright, fine. So it's how do we use it? We'll look at it. For example, I'll just do a very simple thing. I'll go and print over here new date. Okay, I'll import date java.util date. Okay, don't worry what I've written over here, import and what is this date. I've just used one of the class files date which is present in one of these jars. Okay, forget about these commands, that what are these commands, how will they work. The objective over here is to explain you that I can use inbuilt class files, and when I run it, it prints the current system date. So you never had to write the logic. Okay, you never had to write the logic to actually print the date, time, time zone, here, everything. So I had an inbuilt feature. There's a question being asked how to create a jar file. You can convert a project to a jar file. You can click on the project. Okay, right click on it, and or you can click on the project, go to file, export, and you can select hold on, jar from here under Java jar. It will be converted to a jar, but you don't need to do that in Selenium. Okay, you'll not find the need. Alright, so basically the inbuilt features in the jar file, the inbuilt class features which were made by somebody else who was making Java, you can use them with the help of jars. Okay, right. Now, as far as Selenium is concerned, Selenium has its own independent set of jar files. If you go to the official website of Selenium, which is seleniumhq.org, and if you go to the download section, you will see a download link over here for Java. You click on this and download the zip file, and when you extract the zip file, you will have these jars. Okay, you will have these jar files, and under the library folder you will have other jar files. These are the jar files for Selenium. Okay, right. So you need to import these jars in Eclipse, and then only you can start working with Selenium. Alright. So you right click on the project to import them. Right click on the project, go to the properties of the project. Alright. And sorry. So when you go to the properties of the project, right, you will see the option Java build path. Okay. Click on that, and there will be a libraries tab. Fine. And there will be 4 tabs. Go to the libraries tab and click on add external jars and add the jar files. Add this jar file. Oh, sorry, just a minute, for Selenium 3. Add this client combined jar file. Okay. Along with it, add the other jars as well. All the jars of the lib folder. And you will see a reference library section generated over here, which will have the jars of Selenium. Your project is now Selenium enabled. Selenium is not installed, it is configured. You have to configure the jars. Okay, right. There's a question being asked that how do we know whatever logic we want to use for that there is a prerequisite? That's what I'm coming over to it. That how do you as a beginner come to know that fine there is a date class or something, or how as you as a beginner you will come to know that what is there in these jar files. For that we have the Java documentation. The documentation of Java, which you cannot directly learn, you have to learn object oriented programming. Okay, the Java docs is there. Yes, Pooja, you need to download the jars from the site and then you can go to the properties and import them in Eclipse. You have to download them. You have to download them from this download link. Okay. Right. Secondly, we are also there. We are that's why the training is for that. How do you come to know that what is there inside the jars? Okay. Now to understand this, you have to start off with the concept of object-oriented programming. Fine. You need to know what objects are, what static, non-static, all that stuff. Okay. So anybody with any questions? I have recorded this session. I'll stop here for today. Today was the first day. Okay. I'll stop.